Hello all, Joe Weaver here again. Finally got some time and also some nicer weather to be able to come outside and put together a video. Got some crows harassing a red-tailed hawk somewhere back there, so they're talking to each other, and seems like the trees and the flowers and everything has been really waiting and just like really bursting out here in this last week. We finally started getting some warmer weather here in North Carolina, and it's been everything is really turning green really fast. Within a few days it's really transformed. It's been nice to have some warmer weather. It seems like we've had a really long winter, not just here in North Carolina, but I'm sure everybody around the world in different places have been feeling the changes in the weather patterns and so on. And so today I wanted to share with you something about the five-body system, and also related to my own experience and how I've in relation to my own personal experience, how in life, how this basically an example of this that has to do with my dad and his experience over this last few months with throat cancer. So first off, I want to start with, when I talk about the five-body system, I'm relating to the different levels of our own self that's tied to this physical body. The physical body is one aspect of the five, and so the five would be the physical body, emotional body, mental body, which is tied into our left brain, the astral body, which also is called the etheric body, and then the fifth is the spiritual body. You could say the more of our expanded eternal light body. So those are pretty much the five, and as we integrate and release and cleanse and detoxify the four levels of the self that's tied to, again, to this physical body, the more in tune and we're able to integrate more with the fifth level, say spiritual body, or more of eternal essence, IAM cosmic light body. So the example that was coming to me to share, that was, I think it was probably a really good way to look at this, is to imagine you are just a ball of light, and around the ball of light that you are is a sphere, just a sphere that surrounds you in all ways, and there are four parts to this sphere, and just imagine that these four parts are like different colored stained glass windows. It's one gigantic window, but each of these four parts have a different color to them, and it's just like a stained glass window. Okay? So you're looking out from this ball of light that you are in all directions, and it's according on which way you look is which part of your self that basically you're going to be projecting your light through. So if you look over that way, you might be necessarily connecting in, and this is an example. It's not like this is all relevant to specific levels of directions and everything, but it's only an example. So to say, if you were looking out to the right, you might be looking through and experiencing through your mental body, which may be a certain color like yellow or something. And if you're looking out and focusing out through the left, you might be connecting and or projecting out through the stained glass window that is like your mental body, and it might be a different color like blue. And then, since you're a ball of light, the physical body is only an aspect, just like the other parts. So if you look down back in this way, behind your head or something like that, or behind your, in the other direction, because you're a ball of light right now, you may be projecting out and or experiencing out through, say, this other part of the stained glass window, which is your physical body. And that in itself might have a different color, such as, you could say, purple. And then out in another direction that takes care of the other parts of the sphere is another part, such as red, that is tied into your astral etheric body projection, and so on. So all four of those parts basically make up different parts of the sphere. And so you're just a body of a ball of light and consciousness, and projecting out your light through these, what could be looked at as like filters in some ways. They're that you shine your light through those filters and or these colored glass windows of the different parts of the four-body system, and therefore whatever is contained and or that you're holding on to, or maybe perceptions and so on, that's within the stained glass windows of these different parts of yourself. When you shine your light through those windows, whatever's going to be projected on the other side is what basically, it's a part of you. It's an aspect and or a perception, or say something tied into a belief system, or say even a belief of thinking, a belief of maybe a projection of who you think you are. So basically might be tied into the mental, say, stained glass window that's right there. And so with all these parts, including the physical body, because what we've been conditioned to believe so much within the old paradigm is that all that exists is the physical body. And the physical body is only one aspect of our, say, expression, a multidimensional aspect of ourself. Say, coming from the IAM Presence, I am that I am, complete wholeness that we are, it includes all five parts of our multidimensional beingness. So as we're stepping more into our multidimensionality of who we are and how the different parts of ourself work together, we are cleansing and you're becoming more aware of these different levels of the self and how they interact with one another, how they work together. So to say what we're going in right now, and what so many people are going through, and we're all going through on the planet, including Mother Earth herself, is we're going through a cleansing. And as we those who've been involved in this, more aware of the conscious shifts throughout the years, this purging process that we've been going through, it seems like it's been going on forever, but what it's doing, it's releasing the density that is tied into us, it's tied into the earth. And as we release density, we're moving into a higher vibrational environment, not only for those that have been doing this process for years, have been getting more in touch with their own self-mastery and connection with their IAM presence and embodying these changes. And not everyone is, of course, doing the same process. Not everyone is doing the same thing. And that's the beauty of creation in itself. And so we're all going through this together, even though we might not be on the same level of integration of the different levels of our own self, but all is perfect in one way or another. So getting back to what I was talking about regarding the different levels, the 4-body system and so on, as the light within us basically intensifies, you could just imagine yourself that ball of light, and you're radiating out in all directions through these different filters of your 4-body system. As the light within you intensifies, basically it is reflecting and going through these different parts of yourself. So if you're radiating out in intensified light that continues to grow with intensity and higher frequency, and it's radiating out through this, say, your emotional body and this part of yourself, whatever is contained within that part of yourself in your emotional body and that reflective part that maybe resonates with, say, victimhood, or say a long held on anger towards someone or something, or even to yourself that you did years ago from not only maybe this lifetime, from other lifetimes, is still contained within that emotional body. And therefore, in order for the light that is shining within you to shine clearly and more brightly through that part of yourself, basically it has to be dissolved. We must release and or that's tied into the purging process to allow a higher frequency to flow through that part of ourself. Of course, this purging process and so on that I'm describing is not always a fun experience, but as down the road we always can look back at these experiences and know the reason why we might had to have gone through, say, this painful experience, or say this situation with somebody else. There's always a reason why we experience what we do. So going on to the mental body and so on, we might be having held on some mental patterns, say some beliefs, and as the light that you are continues to shine brighter and brighter, it's reflecting off of those mental patterns, and therefore it's reflecting back to us, say, this struggle that we might be having. It's a continuous, say, repeating of the same thought process over and over until we release that thought process, we release that belief and so on, and therefore it allows a higher vibrational light to shine through the mental body, to shine through that stained glass window of the mental body, and therefore projecting out a brighter light on the other side. The same thing goes for the astral body and the etheric body, which is a lower fourth dimensional aspect of our consciousness that's tied in, again, is not separate. It is tied into the rest of the levels of the self. Whatever patterns, programs, fears, projections that we are working through our own mastery and dissolving all these reflections within ourselves, a lot of those are played out through the astral body or etheric body. And we do this in a multitude of different ways through our sleep patterns and maybe in our sleep time, and through the astral levels we may play out these scenarios like in a multitude of different scenarios. And that's to assist us in processing what we are holding on to. Because, again, the astral body, the etheric body, is only like a stained glass window, just like the emotional body or the mental body or the physical body. It's just a projection. So whatever we're holding on to is going to be projected and experienced through that level. I saved the physical for the last because it's basically the most, what we know the most, that we see and experience, because we're in a physical realm here. We're in a physical existence here on Earth. And or what we view as physical anyway. It's becoming less and less physical as the density releases and releases more and more. But to say if we had some deep-rooted anger that we were holding on to. It might have been a projection tied into the mental body, and also it's probably tied into our emotional body. And therefore, we might not take care of it. We might not process it. And therefore, it stays rooted within the system. Whatever, again, all the levels of the self affect all the levels of self. Just because it's an emotion that we might have been suppressing for years or lifetimes, it still affects all the other levels. We are multidimensional beings, and all levels affect all the rest of them. And so, in order for this deep-rooted anger, and then this is only an example, to be processed, to be released, it has to come to the surface to be released. And a lot of people, and we've experienced in the 3D realm, and also is with our physical body, if we don't process that deep-rooted anger, that deep-rooted hurt or emotion of some kind of experience that we've had in the past, or a deep-rooted belief of separation between ourself and the earth and the universe, if we don't take care of that and a brighter light is shining within us, basically shining out, that deep-rooted, lower vibrational, say, energy and so on, has to be released out through one of these levels of ourself. And that's where, say, disease comes in, and as my friend Harry Baba likes to say, dis-ease. It's not a balance. Therefore, imbalance exists, and that imbalance has to be released. It has to be processed out through one of the levels of ourself. And so, say if that deep-rooted anger or whatever it is, it comes out through one of these portals that we are, one of these four body systems, and therefore, if we haven't processed it, taken care of it consciously, it will manifest out through the physical, and therefore it is processed, it's released through the physical. So the example that I wanted to use, I think you all got the point about the four body system and how all that's tied together. The fifth, basically, light of our eternal I Am is the encompassing part that ties all the four bodies together. It is not only the light within, but also as the inner light matches the outer light, it all becomes more a body of continuous light, that the four body system is contained within. Basically, all the parts are not separate. They are contained within the same, basically, self that we are. So, going into the example that I wanted to share, as some of you have seen on my Facebook page, I was asking for some, say, assistance and love energy to be sent to my dad over this last few months, because he was going through a process of releasing, and also he had some throat stuff going on where he had a couple spots within his throat that he chose to get chemotherapy and also radiation treatment for. And so over that period, I was really monitoring and looking at things, and I really do appreciate it. I want to say thanks to everyone that sent him energy, love energy without conditions during this period of time. I was really monitoring and seeing how all this energy was being focused, and that everything was in alignment with his IAM Presence. That, I pretty much, as with my work and so on, I could see that there were certain parts of his experience that I could have taken, say, or dissolved. But in those ways, just like we are with all people, and especially our loved ones, we don't like necessarily anyone that is really close to us or anybody to really suffer. But there is a reason why that happens. And all we can do, basically, if we truly honor everyone that experiences physical life, is to honor the reason why they are here and honor their experience, and to truly love them without conditions. The energy without conditions basically just surrounds them with a higher vibrational light that allows whatever they are going through to be released with greater ease. Whatever they're going through, either physically, mentally, emotionally, or what on any level, it basically provides a higher energetic environment that is sort of like just surrounds them with that light, and it allows them to release it and move through whatever they're going through that much faster. It's not that we are taking away the whatever is causing the deep-rooted disease or imbalance within the body, but we are supporting them in it simply through love without conditions. So with the experience of my dad and being able to see that when we experience something through the throat like that, it is tied into, it could be tied into some really deep-rooted anger, and that might have been with him for a very, very long period of time. And, some people, no matter, it's up to us to run to consciously be able to say, do different things to either learn to meditate or connect in and go get an energy therapy session with somebody. But we are all where we are, and everyone processes what we're going through in different ways. Even though there's many choices to take care of how we process energy, releasing it through physical manifestation is just one way that we do it. So when he was going through the process, and just an update on this, he pretty much has finished up his treatment. And, I could tell energetically and also consciously he's in a totally different place than he was when he started this process of releasing. Of course, the whole thing about all the chemo and all the stuff that he's had to gone through over these last 7 or 8 weeks has not been an easy process. But I could see energetically that what was there has now been dissolved. He processed it through physical manifestation. That which was held within the levels of his consciousness had no other route to be processed through. He wasn't not taking care of it mentally. He wasn't taking care of it emotionally. He wasn't taking care of it in the astral realms. The only outlet that energy, that balled up anger, or for that balled up energetics that was tied within him, the only outlet that it had available to come through and be released was out through the physical. And therefore, once it's processed through the physical, then it's like dissolving that karmic energy, and that built up, say, lower vibrational forms that he was holding on to. So the physical body, basically, just as the physical earth, is an outlet for energy to be processed through. That is the key to the reason why I'm sharing this video, is to see that we are not just physical. We are not just one aspect. We are a multi-dimensional being that has many outlets, not only to experience life through, but to also process energy through. We can take care of things on an energetic level through consciously dissolving this anger, dissolving our own victimhood or patterns of disempowerment, and therefore it doesn't have to be, say, manifested out through the physical body. A lot of people don't even process a lot of this built up energetics that we hold on to until they get sick or they get physically ill or have some kind of disease, and therefore it gives them a scenario to where they can have time to process it. We've been conditioned so much to see things from good or bad, light evil and all that our craziness and the dualistic tied into that lower old paradigm world. And the whole thing is, that's not the only choices we have available to us. We can take care of things energetically, consciously, and so on, that brings all our body systems into harmony and balance. And this is up to us individually. Of course, we have assistance for those of us that know how to do energy therapy and are tied into that, say, focused on it and learned necessarily the different points of how to clear energy and assist energy in freeing up through the different levels of the self. But it's up to us to want to have the will to basically to assist ourselves, to step up and ask for assistance, to release, have the will within us to release what we are holding on to. Either that be a belief of separation that we have been conditioned to believe through a religion, or through our parents, or through a culture, or through our own personal experience, is have the will to release it. That is up to us individually. As we release what we're holding on to, not only, say, maybe through the physical manifestation, through emotional exchange that we might experience, mental, through the astral realms, and so on, it allows for us to vibrate and allow a higher vibrational light to flow through us and out into all directions. Basically, that sphere is us. The more that we release the old, the brighter light that we are, and the brighter that light is, it expands our energetics. It activates our, say, dormant DNA, and all our remembrance, say, flows with greater ease. So consciousness is vibration, and all forms of consciousness, all forms of experience holds different levels of vibration. And there is expanded horizons of, say, of other sunsets to see, and other landscapes of being able to see this world in different ways. Just because we're holding on to one way of seeing it is not the only way to see it. There's a multitude of ways for us to experience life. And so, I think I got across the main points that I wanted to share today regarding the outlets for us to release and process energy. Physical manifestation is only one. The mental is only one. But if we can release something mentally that's been blocking us from experiencing our expanded multidimensionality, therefore it frees up the other levels. Everything within us is able to flow with greater ease. We are holding back the resistance. We hold the resistance. There is nothing on the outside, on the other side of those stained glass windows, that basically is holding back the light from flowing through you. We hold on to the resistance. It's through our own manifestations, projections, and past experiences that we have not released or processed yet. So, I think that's pretty much it. And an affirmation, if you wish to do and spend some time in meditation or just walking through nature, is to affirm to yourself and really center yourself within your heart. Say, connecting with your I Am Presence, and which is your eternal, authentic self, and say, I wish to release the separation. I release and dissolve all the resistance within me. And if you wish to say that over and over, or until you feel physically feel an energetic release. If something's coming to the surface mentally over and over and over and over, it's time to process it, time to release it. If you're experiencing something over and over and over emotionally that keeps coming up through different scenarios, it's giving you the chance to release it. If something manifests out through the physical body, that we have pain, injury, disease in some way, it's only giving us the opportunity to release it. The same thing is if we're going into astral realms and we're experiencing some kind of craziness scenario over and over and over, it's only giving us a chance to release it. Once we release it, then we don't have to experience it anymore. We've moved beyond it. We've expanded our vibration. Our own light quotient is expanded at that time. So I think that's it for now regarding this topic. And as I sort of wrote the other day on my Facebook page, all that I am bows and honors the wholeness that you are. And you know, the old saying of namaste was, the light within me honors the light within you. But in this dualistic world, we're always pushing out the darkness and trying to say it's separate, but basically it's not. We have to process that darkness. We have to release the separation, because that's tied into all this. Release the separation within your own self. And so that's the reason why I say namaste, about and honor the wholeness that you are, not just the light, because everything is the light in the first place. It's just different shades. So until next time, I'll see you later.